Hey, how's it going, guys? Matt Modi with OddsJam coming to you with 3 last-minute player props to lock in for Thursday night football tonight. So I'm sure if you guys have been following along the OddsJam YouTube channel, you've seen a lot of stuff for Monday night. If I said Thursday, I meant Monday night football tonight. My brain's all frazzled. But Monday night football tonight, you've seen a ton of bets out there, but odds are constantly changing. Lines are constantly being updated, which means that there are constantly profitable betting opportunities to take advantage of, leading right up until game time. So I'm monitoring lines as the day goes on, and I'm finding value. And there are 3 currently that I really like for tonight's betting slate. The first one that we're going to lock in here is Joe Mixon over 66.5 rushing yards, minus 101 at Caesars. So this is definitely my favorite play of the group. So I'm going to put 3/4 of a unit on this one, which for me is $75. For those of you who don't feel like doing the math of half a unit versus a full unit, or excuse me, you don't feel like doing the math of 3/4 of a unit, and you'd rather do half or full, I would recommend rounding this one up to a full unit. If you're unfamiliar with what I mean when I keep saying a unit, 1 unit equals 1% of your bankroll. It's kind of like bankroll management best practices to try and unit size everything, to standardize. Like $75 for me might be more than 5 units for you, or it might be not even close to half a unit for you, something like that. So just standardizes the measurement. And a lot of times when I go about trying to figure out what I'm going to put on a play, I use the recommended bet size as kind of a baseline, and then I'll tweak it for more or for less, depending on what I think of the play itself. And I'll talk to you exactly about my rationale when I decide to do that. So for this play, the no-vig line that you see here, OddsJam calculates to be about minus 108, minus 107.66. You round that bad boy up to minus 108. So Caesars, we got it at minus 101. So the gap between these two numbers, that is where you get your positive expected value from. Your profit margin is this percent here. So for every $100 wagered on this Joe Mixon play, you could figure to profit like $3.18. So for me, I put 75 on it. So my profit's whatever 3/4 of $3.18 is. But the way it works is OddsJam calculates this no vig line based on back testing a bunch of betting opportunities, determining what sportsbooks are the best at pricing odds, removing the vig from those sharp sportsbooks using a weighted average, giving heavier weight, obviously, towards the sharper books. And all of that data collection spits out this no vig line that you see here. So this no vig number can be viewed as the true line of what a market should truly be priced at. So if you're ever able to get more favorable odds, higher payouts than the no vig line, that is how you can be profitable in the long run. That is how you can make money betting on sports using OddsJam. So it's an amazingly helpful tool. I've been made a killing off of it. I've had a ton of success. The last 2 weeks alone has just been madness using OddsJam. My profit, I'm trying to get to 15K. If I have another really good week, I will get there tonight. Not tonight, this week. And all of this comes from using OddsJam, and then from also tracking my bets, right? You need to understand whether you're profitable or not, so you can make the proper insights and change your strategy depending. So this play, Joe Mixon over 66.5 minus 101 is the positive EV play. The next thing that I like to do is if you click into a play, right, it pulls up where every sportsbook prices a market at. And we see the minus 101 on Caesars. Look at every other book. So Thrive, you can pretty much ignore in terms of their odds because they're a DFS platform. They have the same implied odds for every play. But Pinnacle, minus 137. WinBet, minus 125. DraftKings, minus 120. BetMGM, minus 120. All of these books have the over as the more likely scenario, except for Caesars at minus 101. Another thing you can do is if you view event page in a new tab, pulls up where every sportsbook prices his player prop, his yardage total at. So if you wanted to be a little bit safer, you could get him at 65.5 at minus 110 odds. For me, I wanted the better odds, so I got him to go over 66.5. But look at the rest of the betting landscape. Minus 115, 67.5, 69.5. All of these books have his yardage prop, except for 2, priced higher than 66.5. And then one of them, BetOnline, which is a really sharp sportsbook that we use to kind of help confirm what a line should be priced at, favors the over at 69.5. Give it just insane value if you take his over rushing yards. Pretty much any number you get except for 67.5 at minus 115. Those odds are terrible. But like this, if you want to get for plus money, get 70 plus. If you want to be a little bit safer, get them over 65. For me, I liked the value of over 66.5. And here we have it. So this is the first play. Joe Mixon over 66.5 rushing yards. Let me refresh this. Make sure I'm constantly getting the best odds. So that one I locked in. The next play that I think is a good one is this T. Higgins over 5.5 receptions. So let me go ahead and lock this one in at Typico. Now I would like to put a half unit on this one on the T. Higgins prop, but unfortunately Typico has me limited. So I'm not sure exactly how much they'll let me get on this one. So it'll be a surprise for you and me to look. But so you want their player props, we want their receptions, we want him over 5.5, should be minus 105 odds. Perfect. So I'm going to round this one up to half a unit where I would like to, which would be $50, but they won't let me get that. They normally don't let me get more than like 10. But for those of you at home, this is roughly a half unit play. So for me, which should be $50. And let me add this one to my bet tracker. But same logic here, right? Minus 105 is what Typico's giving you. No big odds. Price this at about minus 107. I like this play. T. Higgins is the de facto #1 receiver with Jamar Chase out. So he should get a ton of work, a ton of run. Browns defense stinks. So I think the Bengals will have a ton of success. So this one makes a lot of sense. And then the last play, we're looking at Donovan Peoples-Jones under 3.5 receptions. This is going to be another play that I'm going to put half of a unit on. Total receptions, Donovan Peoples-Jones under 3.5, $50. And I actually don't need to add this one to my bet tracker because OddsJam has, you can sync your sportsbooks to your bet tracker. So this one, if I just refresh my bet tracker, my page, resync my accounts, it'll get added for me. So I don't need to do this. But another good play, minus 104 at Caesars. No big odds at minus 105. And if you look at the sharp books, they have the under as the more likely scenario. Pinnacle, minus 128. Bet Online, minus 119. And then I do like looking at DraftKings specifically for player props. Have this at minus 125. So another good play, rounding out my 3 last minute player props to lock in for tonight. And that is going to be it. So I appreciate you guys watching and have a good one.